Good afternoon. Hello, I am Lise Colucci, and I am one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Today, we're going to talk about accountability, both how the narcissist lacks accountability and how we need to have accountability for our own healing and ourselves. Hi, Angela. So if you want to know your own power and overcome toxic abuse, hit the subscribe button and let's get going. So, hello, Stacy. Hello, Suzanne. I am good. How are you? And also head on over to queenbeing.com for any information, lots and lots of information about support, for support itself, and for information on coaching or group coaching. So head over there, queenbeing.com, and let's go. Let's go now. So, hey guys, what's up today with you? And we're going to talk about accountability. Accountability for ourselves and our healing. Let me find where I wrote down all my little notes because now I have changed the pages over and over. Okay. Got it. Hello, family, fashion family. I'm going to call you the family fashion family. Hello. Okay. So we have over and over, you hear me say the narcissist lacks accountability, right? What does that mean? It means that they don't take responsibility for their actions, and they push that responsibility back onto others through projection and gaslighting, through creating situations where you walk on eggshells, through making other people the problem, other things the problem, through becoming the victim, through blaming, through denial, through things saying, through saying things like, I don't remember, I don't know, I don't really know why I did that, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. You know, that whole playing dumb, playing the victim, playing innocent. That's what the narcissist does. They do not accept responsibility and they do not take accountability for their actions. Even if they admit to being abusive or being harmful or being hurtful, they will have excuses and hopefully not hairs in their eyes like I do right now, like terribly bad. Wow. Okay, I can see. Okay, hi, Fancy. There we go. Anyway, so hopefully, they will not take any accountability for the actions that they do. Why? Why don't they? Okay, so we know that a narcissist lives in ego. They live in a delusional world based on the ego that they believe is their true self. They do not have empathy for other people. So the drive to change that perception of self being the only thing that exists and the only thing worth anything to themselves, right? That there's no drive to change that because they have no empathy for anyone else. They only think about themselves. But what they're thinking about is protecting that fragile ego, because what they have built up is a false persona, which is a layering of mask after mask after mask, lenses that they put on that they want other people to view them through, right? They put on a mask, which is a false personality, in order to serve suit a situation, which then serves the delusion that they live under. And to take accountability for an action would disrupt that. It would not allow for that. You can't make mistakes when you're living in that world. You can't be accountable to your actions because it would be like saying, yes, there's something vulnerable and weak about me. There's something wrong with me. There's something that needs changing about me. And we know that a narcissist cannot do that, right? They cannot take accountability. It's, to me, the number 2 sign that you're dealing with a narcissist. First, you're looking for, is there any empathy? And then is this person willing to take accountability and then take action to show that accountability means something. In other words, it's not just accepting blame for something. That's not accountability. Accountability is then making changes or taking actions to rectify a situation, fix things. You know what I'm saying? So in a narcissist, it causes them to witness their own vulnerability as a human being, which we know they can't do. And what happens when they witness this is they can often be sent into a narcissistic rage because it's not lining up with the delusion that they see themselves as, right? And basically it makes everyone around them walk on eggshells. So if you're walking on eggshells, you're dealing with someone who's not being accountable to their own actions in their own life. So we know this, okay, we know these things is what they do, but it's the problem with it, besides it being a pain and really annoying to deal with and, you know, causing all kinds of unhappiness and hurt in you, is that it destroys the relationship trust. It breaks down trust because you can't trust someone who can't be accountable to their actions and their behaviors. How can you? You can only trust them to do that same thing over and over again. But we know that with trauma bonding and with the cognitive dissonance that sets in, that's really difficult. It's really difficult to see them for who they are because we keep looking at potential. What happens when we're looking at potential is we're not allowing someone else to have accountability for their own actions, and we are taking it on ourselves instead. We're taking on the responsibility of somebody else's misdeeds and bad behaviors and abuse through saying, I can take it. I can take it. I can deal with it. I can manage it. When we stay because we can't get out because of trauma bonds, that's kind of what's happening. It's not on purpose. It's not our fault. We're not deliberately, I mean, there's so much involved, right? But this is what the breakdowning of what happens to us is, that then it is very difficult to stop taking accountability for other people. And this whole talk today came about because we were talking about accountability last week, and people, everyone apologizing for other people's actions, and other people saying that they felt like they were responsible for how other people were treating them, and they didn't want to make people mad. It was the whole talk about codependent traits and people-pleasing traits came to accountability. So that's why we're talking about this. We know what the narcissist does. The whole point of my explaining all that was just to show you the way it sets up the programming in you to take the responsibility for somebody else. If you don't, what happens? We know what happens. The rage happens. The gaslighting happens. The silent treatments happens. The projecting happens. You feel like crap. You're crying. They're smug and sitting there giving you this stone cold shoulder. The whole breakdown of the day happens, or the night happens. It becomes the hell that you live in when we don't take accountability for the narcissist's actions. So that sets up a programming in you that that's what you do in order to keep peace, right? So, and it's not really a healthy way to keep peace, is it? Because we can't keep peace and be healthy with a toxic person. But then we take that and translate it into our whole life. And so we need to learn a new way of being accountable. Okay. Does that make sense? I think I explained what I wanted to say there. I said something in my last video that struck a chord with me. You are trauma bonded to the narcissist. It will be painful to get rid of the narcissist, and you won't feel better until the trauma bond breaks. Yes. Okay. So is breaking free all about dealing with the pain that goes along with breaking the trauma bond? Yes. To me, it's about seeing the truth for what it is and accepting it. Part of that is the pain that comes with the acceptance. So if it's, you know, the images that they show of a narcissist and there's this beautiful person, and then they show the skin coming off like it's a cartoon or a drawing or an artist's rendition, and then there's like a monster underneath. It's seeing that the behavior of that person is toxic. That imagery is showing you that what's inside of that person is not what they're putting on the outside. And so we need to be able to see the truth of who they are, not the potential of who they could be. Everybody has potential, but the problem is we stop seeing our own potential because we're so busy looking for their potential, and we spend our whole lives focusing on that other person. So yes, as you move through breaking the trauma bonds, you let go of focusing back on the other person. This is what we're going to illustrate today with taking this accountability thing that the narcissist does and turning it inward toward ourselves, and learning to find where we're not accountable, where we're not holding our own, right, on our side, so that we can grow, forget them. That's what it's about. It's about you taking the reins back of your own life and letting go of the other person. And there's, as you're saying, there's moving through the pain. There's seeing them for who they are and accepting it, period. Nothing more to say. It's hard. We don't want to accept it. We don't want to believe it, but it is what it is. So they're presenting it to you over and over and over. They'll even tell you, okay? They'll even tell you. I've met people online recently and they've told me straight up. And I say, oh yeah? All right then, later. You know, they don't say I'm a narcissist, but actually I've had a couple say, I think I am. It's okay. That's cool. Bye. You know, I don't want to talk to you, but they tell us in their actions, they tell us in words, and we don't want to look. So letting go of that, letting go of the not wanting to look is being accountable to yourself. So this whole thing is about being accountable to you, right? It's going to be my image today. Okay. It's about you stepping up for yourself and being accountable to yourself. Okay. So we'll talk about that. Let me go to you guys for a second. Keeping the peace doesn't work. All the rage is ensuing because I put my foot down. Yep. There is no trauma bond. I just live with this jerk. Yeah. Right. And so how can you get out? And if you can't, then it's really management, right? And having your own life separate as much as you can. And being as accountable to yourself as you can for your own continued healing and growth as you are struggling to live with this person. Grace, hello. Hello, Butterfly Mama Grace. Who else am I not saying hi to that I need to say hi to? Is it Ionel? Ionel? How do you pronounce that? Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hello. Hello, Jack. I've just learned that that I can't really share the healing I'm going through with my kids. They don't want to see it. I get it. I wish I hadn't trained well. So sad one is in a red flag relationship. It is sad when they don't want to hear it or get it. And people need to come to it on their own, even if they are our children. Ionel. Okay. Hi, Ionel. Yeah, it's tough because we can't force people to see. Oh, Lanel, it's an L. You see how my eyes are working today? Not real well. I have a crazy hair in one of them, and it's the one that works well. And I'm just pretending it's not there right now. Anyway, Lanel. That's nice. Lanel. Ionel's pretty too, but Lanel's better. All right. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. So Jack is saying breaking free from the cognitive dissonance and trauma bond and coming to terms with why we stayed and forgiving ourselves and putting the accountability where it belongs. Right. So to be accountable to yourself is to, well, one thing is to accept what's ours and let other people take care of what's theirs. And if they won't, that's still not our problem. It's still not ours to fix. We're not here on this planet to fix other people's anything, right? We're here to live our lives. I'm not here to change you. You're here to change you. All right. I'm just offering you information. I can't be accountable to you, for you, to you. You can't be accountable to me, for me. We can be accountable to one another in certain ways, to show up, to be present, to give our attention to one another, that kind of thing. But that's really about being accountable to yourself. It comes down to your intention. So what's your intention for yourself? What do you want for yourself, and how are you driving your life forward? When you've been with a narcissist, you probably don't know, right? Because you're just in survival mode, clinging tooth and nail, right? To life, to going. Oh, confused. What were you saying? So if someone says they're a narcissist, they probably are. Yes. No. Okay. You question yourself at times. No, I was saying that meeting new people, I was off on a different direction. And I was talking more about when someone presents something to you. I mean, would you walk up to a stranger that you're just meeting and be like, hey, I'm Stacy. I want to be your friend. You want to hang out? Oh, by the way, I think I'm a narcissist. Oh, and you know what? I'm so into myself, and everything I do, I want you to follow. You ready for that? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you feel a certain way about yourself and you're questioning yourself, and therefore you might say it to a friend or someone like me, it's like, oh my gosh, Lisa, I think I might be a narcissist. I don't think you are. I've talked to you. I don't think you are. I think you are deeply trauma bonded. And this is what happens. We take on the responsibilities for the narcissist. We start to feel like them. It's part of taking on the responsibilities of the narcissist stuff. It's not ours to take on. It's not ours to take on the responsibility for anybody else. Even children have to become responsible for their own actions and behaviors, right? If we expected of a 5-year-old to be able to have some manners and be polite, we should expect it of an adult, but we don't. We take it on. We make excuses. We make excuses within ourselves. Forget what we're telling other people. We say they've had a hard life. I can understand why they're that way. All they need is to be loved. Oh, if I could do better. No, that's not how a healthy relationship works. Healthy relationship works is, I'm not getting my needs met here. What's going on? Oh, okay. There's discussion, there's communication, I'm feeling like I need something. What can I do to help myself get that need met? And then if you're in a relationship with someone, you discuss it, and the discussion has back and forth. And, well, I can't really do that, but this is what I can do. Oh, okay. Well, I can see how you feel that way. What is it that I'm doing? That's not how it works with a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? There is no back and forth. There's no discussion. It's their way. And then we say, okay, fine, it's your way. I'll just keep pouring into you. We're not being accountable to ourselves. We're taking their stuff and trying to manage it. And that sets up doing it for everybody out in life. It sets up never not being, people are constantly telling me, I can't say no to the guy who's, asking for signatures on the corner because I don't want to hurt his feelings, like a petitioner or something. Why? It's not about his feelings. It's about your time and what you want to do with it and whether you want to support that cause. It's not about other people. So we're not accountable to ourselves, and we're constantly taking on the guilt and whatever we're feeling toward other people. Okay. So any questions about this, you guys ask. And if I miss it, please ask again. Do not take ownership for them, right? Don't take ownership for anyone else. Take ownership for yourself. So how do we do that? Let's talk about that. And let me answer you guys first, and then I'll go on. Only joined, can't stay long. Hi, Phil. I already know this is going to be so useful. Thank you. We'll listen later. Okay. Well, hi, Phil. And bye, Phil. See you later. Hi, Belle. It's been so good to be here. So full of gratitude. I missed a text somehow. I don't know how. Okay. I don't know. I sent. Hope not too far into the stream. No, we're just getting into it. Things have been very bad. Oh, no. So unwell. And he's been insanely raging. How are you going to get out of there, love? Answers and alternatives, nothing. No resources for a woman, no children, and no services, and no money. Services cut, even 90 days. Limit at a shelter here. Need to stay here. Any advice? Oh. Okay, have you been on Queen Being and gone to the plan to get away? It's called Plan. If you look up Queen Being Plan, see if there's anything on that helps you start doing the worksheet. Keep things private and separate. Sock away money where you can. Look for jobs so that you can make it seem like you're doing something because you want to buy them a gift and get a job. I want to get you something fabulous. And sock that money away. Things like that. You do have to lie to them and deceive in order to get out sometimes. So that's what I have for this second. But look at that plan thing. Tell me if you plan thing. Look at the plan. I mean, Angie created this great resource. So go look at it, see if it helps you at all, and then let's talk some more. Where is here? She's in another country. There is no discussion ever. Right. There's no discussion. Okay. So being accountable. I'm going to go back to this and then keep talking, Belle. Okay. We are the ones responsible for our own healing. We are not the ones responsible for getting us in the position of needing healing, right? We're not here to take on the responsibility of other people being abusive to us in our pasts or our presents. But we are the ones who then have to take the reins and create a different path for our life in order to heal. Doesn't seem fair, but it's the way it is. It's the way it is. We can't expect someone to do it for us, and we can't sit back and wait for it to just happen. It's truly active healing for most of us because there's so much of this pervasive, basically brainwashing that comes into play. So by putting our focus on the narcissist all the time, by putting our focus back on the abuse, by always looking into the past, what are we doing? We're not taking accountability for this moment. So a lot of being accountable is being present in the moment, mindfulness, and living in a more mindful way toward the present moment in time. And that from there, you can start to see your intentions for your actions. If you don't know why you're doing something, so say someone's in front of you and they're like, oh, I don't know, asking something of you and you really want to say no, but you know it's going to hurt their feelings. You don't know anything. Well, first of all, what are you doing? You're making an assumption about somebody else's inner state and inner reaction that they may or may not ever tell you, right? Because most people don't say, why not? I'm really mad at you. I'm really hurt. My feelings are so hurt. If they do, they're probably something up, right? I mean, maybe a really good friend might say that, but people don't usually say that. So we make assumptions based on subtle cues and body language and all these things, but we're making wrong assumptions because half the time the filter we're seeing it through is the one of people pleasing and needing to be accountable for other people's actions because a toxic person has taught us if we're not, something bad is going to happen, right? So if we're making assumptions of other people's actions, we're not actually being accountable to what we need in the moment. We're basing our decision on an assumption about how to make somebody else not. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a cycle of manipulation of the world around us that isn't necessary, and it's actually kind of harmful for you. So I'm going to read this real quick. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read this real quick and then we're going to talk to you more, Belle. Okay. I'm going to go through this. Okay. I'm not trying to ignore you is what I'm saying because I want to help you, but I'm going to move through this so my brain doesn't, I can't do two topics at once or might get a little crazy. Okay. So with being accountable and hi Scorp. Okay. So with being accountable to yourself, and stop taking on others' inner states as your own. It's their responsibility. I think I can only say that like 50 million times today, but really it's their responsibility. When we're doing that, what are we doing? We're not paying any attention. When you're taking on the accountability of somebody else's inner state, their inner experience, their happiness, sadness, whatever. When you're taking that on, you're not paying any attention to yourself. Most likely. It's really hard to do that, to be so absorbed in what other people are doing to the point where you're basing your actions on it and also being aware of what it is you need in the moment and how you would respond based on that. It's not selfish to have a need. It's not selfish to take care of your needs. It's responsible. All right. So, with narcissistic abuse, here's the what we toggle. Here's the thing that we have to balance. You don't need to be sorry at all, Belle. You amble all you need. You ramble. You're not rambling. You talk all you need. I'm just going to what I was saying is I want to come back to it. I'm not ignoring you is what I'm saying. I'm finishing a topic and then I'm going to come back to you. So you say all you need to say because you're in a crisis situation and it's kind of ongoing for you. And I want to help you and I don't know. So say what you need to say so we have the info so we can try and help you. And no need to be sorry at all. That's part of accountability. You don't need to be sorry because you are using this forum. Whoa, there we go. You're using this chat for exactly the purpose that it is for. There is no need to be sorry. Okay. All right. What are you saying here? Fashion Family saying, break that trauma bond. It's going to hurt a lot, but I have to do it. I have to break it to be accountable to myself. No excuses, no exceptions. Now I'm sad. It's okay to be sad. You can be sad and hopeful at the same time. You can be sad and you know why? Because you have empathy and you have the ability to have an entire multitude of emotions all going on at once. And also the sadness can be louder than everything else. And then sometimes the hope can get louder and sometimes the determination can get louder. It's just the way, we are when we have an empathic way of thinking and feeling. So it's okay to be sad. I don't want you sad, but sometimes you got to be sad in order to get through it. It just is. We have to feel whatever comes up, right? Leslie's saying, I'm so protective now of others who try to do the same thing as the narcissist, the ex-narcissist, not want to be responsible for their actions. And then if I point them out, lash out at me. What do you mean? Say more about that. I'm not following what you mean there. You're saying you point out to other people what they're doing to you and then they lash out at you? Is that what you mean? Or you're pointing out, you're protective of yourself, or you're protective of yourself when the way others treat you, or you're protective of others not being treated in that way too? Probably both, but with the galaxy going wild as well, it certainly is, isn't it? Okay, so we'll keep going here. Okay. What do we have here? Okay, so when that's where I was going with this. When we're learning about narcissistic abuse, when we are obviously here watching videos, trying to learn and understand and comprehend and get our heads around how this is even possible and all of that, and reading every book out there and watching every stream out there and being in every support group out there, and basically we submerge our lives into a world of understanding of narcissism. Is that ringing true for anyone? It's almost an obsession, one might say, but it's not. It's a fixed goal on understanding what you've been through. It's overwhelming. Okay, so what can happen is at a certain point, we have to shift the focus back to self. That's why I talk more about self-healing than I do the narcissist, because I try to do both. I try to balance it, but I generally try to bring every talk back to you guys, right? Back to us, because we're not trying to heal them. We're not trying to fix them. We're trying to understand what happened. And the only way to understand what happened is to truly understand the way they think and the way the actions that they did are real, that they're true, to accept it and to move on. The risk of getting stuck in getting text. I don't know how to turn it off. The risk of getting, let me try that. Oh, everything just, okay. Everything's talking. Okay. The risk of getting stuck there, the risk of getting fixated on the narcissist, that's the problem with when we don't take accountability for our healing. Okay. Because we discover, understand, overcome. We stop and understand often. And we want to stay and understand for a long time. And that can be a tricky place. We have to step over into the overcoming. Part of that is doing exactly what Fashion Family was talking about, breaking the trauma bonds, letting go, moving forward, finding ways to now take what has become our programming and change it. It's action upon yourself. That's the accountability that we need to have, versus the accountability of making excuses, saying, oh, but they're hurt. I could fix it. Why are they doing this? Why aren't they hoovering? Oh my gosh, they're hoovering. Like them, pouring that direction. It has to pour back into you. And that's what I'm pointing out here. Okay. Linnell's saying, Vale, the cluster bees had all fell down and continues to fall. I missed a part of that, I think. Once you learn it, you don't give it anymore. That's right. But not by the cluster bees. He will use it against you somehow and go for a nice long walk and cry to the sky. Okay, bless you. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reading. What's going on here? I have a friend who wants my ear 24/7, saying Leslie, but when she doesn't hear what she wants, throws it back at me. We can't change other people. I can sit here till I'm blue in the face and say, you guys, a narcissist is a narcissist. Get out. Over and over and over. And a lot of people, and a lot of people will be nodding their heads, and a lot of people will be saying she doesn't know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Like it's where a person's at, where they're ready to hear what they're here, and where the voice that speaks to them speaks to them. You can have, that's why there's so many people talking about this, and I may not resonate with someone, whereas, somebody else might. So it's important. It's not personal. It's the way the message is delivered comes in at the right time, in the right moment for that person in particular. Sometimes that's all it takes to turn the light on. And other times, another person sitting right next to them won't see the same light, right? So it's not personal when that happens. So all you do from this perspective, because you're basically, what you're saying there is kind of the position I sit in, right? Is giving information, trying to help people, but also realizing it's your responsibility to be accountable for your own healing at a certain point. And I understand that you're trauma bonded and that it's very difficult, and your friend is stuck right now and not wanting to see it. But you have given them information, and that information will sit in their heads when every time the abuse happens, that information will ring in their heads, and hopefully they will start taking accountability at that point for the getting out and their own healing. No one's going to get you out for you. No one's going to come and pluck you out and take you away. As much as people like Belle would love it if I had a little like tractor beam and could just pull her up and out of there. And I would love to do it if I had the magic tractor beam, but I don't, right? And even then, her healing and your healing and everybody else's healing is your own responsibility, just like your friends. So we can't take it on for them, but we can offer information and then let go. And then let go in love, right? Okay. My tolerance level has gone down. Good. Explain nothing, no need. That's their thing. And I'm enough. They aren't enough. That's right. The light is on now. Very on. Good. Keep it on. It's not going to feel good. It's okay. It's okay, because what's on the other side is great. So that you just got to trust. It's not perfect. Of course, it's still life. It's not like we got it. It's still stuff, but okay. The information, it's like drip, drip, drip. Yep. That's right. It's just drops but it sits there. And so if you're telling your friend, hey, I think you were gaslighted. I think that's gaslighting. I think that here's what it sounds like. Here, watch this video. Here, let me explain this to you. Read this book, blah, blah, blah. And they're still, no, I can't look. Well, next time they're gaslighted, it's going to come up and they're going to go, wait, this is what my friend said. But if you push and push into someone, they can resist and resist harder and harder. They're in denial. We have to stop the denial. That's part of being accountable. We can't make someone else accountable. We can only do it ourselves. So in this situation, in a situation where you're feeling responsible for someone, where's your denial? Your denial is in the fact that it's theirs and not yours, right? To fix. I'm feeling sad. Karina's saying, I'm feeling sad. My sister is planning with a friend to go to Japan, buying the ticket next month. Meanwhile, I don't have a job. I feel sad and ashamed, like I'm not good enough. Comparison, Linnell is right. Why are you comparing? Comparison is a fast way to defeat. All right? Compare yourself to yourself. Where were you yesterday? Where do you want to be? Where were you 5 minutes ago? Even if you're a sobbing mess on the floor, you're talking, you're bringing it up. You're being honest, and you're being open, and you're trusting, and you're working on this accountability stuff towards yourself. That's better than any trip to Japan sometimes. Sometimes where we're at's where we need to be, unfortunately, in order to get to the next place. And comparing yourself to other people is nothing but, especially people that you have competitive anything with, is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to help you. Do I know any tricks? Do I know any tips or tricks to help someone start the process of breaking a trauma bond? Join my group. Join my group if you can. That one is not not active right now, but there is the Wednesday night group is active and totally welcome for breaking trauma bonds in there. Support, self-focus, self-care, determination. There has to be a shutting off of the emotional flow toward the narcissist. You can't maintain the relationship as it was. The whole relationship changes. The dynamic changes. The relationship changes. Your empathy pouring out toward them changes, and you have to accept that. You can have empathy and you can feel bad, but you can't let it pour out toward them, because it's fuel, right? Understanding that what you give them isn't love, it's supply. It's love in your world. Your reality and their reality are two separate things. There's so many like pieces to accept and to move through. So that's what I'd start with. But and being accountable to yourself means asking yourself, what do I need? Why am I here? What is my intention? Where's my focus? You can find excuses like financial and this and that. I mean, there's ways to find ways to stay all the time. But how am I serving the life I want to live? And is this healthy? You know, comparing is a bad habit, I think. It is. So let's talk about it from the standpoint of accountability, since we're talking about accountability today. Who are you being accountable to when you are comparing? And is that, how's that serving you? Okay. Questions. Got blurry. Okay. I have to find a way to keep safe in mind, spirit, and body, and stay away from the narcissist ASAP. I'm becoming a gray rock pro, survival mode. Have to just do it. Feeling overwhelmed. Staying in now. It's hard because you do have to, when you're in it that deep and when it's that intense, the dissociation is your survival mechanism. It's okay. Understand that when it's happening, Belle, when you're dissociating, it's not a bad thing. It's the way you survive. Okay. But getting away from it and taking breaks and coming back into the moment afterward can be useful. So it's finding the times when you do have the safety and security, when you're alone, to calm yourself down and come back into the moment. It's really hard to live with these people. Well, it's not hard. It's horrible. It's really horrible to live with these people. Okay. And Belle, feel free to email me too, okay? And I'll chat with you a bit and see if I can have anything I can offer, okay? It's hard to do on here. I know, understand where you're at. Why is there guilt? Asking why is there guilt about hurting their feelings if we leave them? Right. Why is there guilt for hurting anyone's feelings? We don't want to go around hurting feelings, but why are we assuming we're going to hurt their feelings? You don't hurt a narcissist's feelings when you leave them. You starve them of supply. You make them scared. You make them frantic that they are not going to have their needs met. It's not about hurting feelings. It's not about compassion and understanding mutually expressed between each other. It's about, all you're doing is cutting off supply. You're taking away their source. And there's nothing to feel guilty about there. Okay. I'm confused about comparison because I feel my accountability is accepting where I am and how I create my life, and I am healthier, but my life doesn't reflect it on the outside. You just explained my reality. Thank you, Grace. I totally feel you. Totally feel you. It's steps and movements forward. look to where your life has changed, because my guess is there are places where it has. This is what I do. I look to where my life has changed on the outside, and it's not in the things I think it should be. Sometimes it's in the freedoms I have. Sometimes it's in the joy I feel. Sometimes it's in my ease of laughter. You guys have no idea. I didn't laugh or smile. I don't know for how many years. I mean, the laughter was only at situational things on television shows, or, external things. It wasn't that. I mean, I laugh to tears almost every day now. That's a massive change on the outside that can only be measured by my own experience of myself. Right. But the things that I want to change, the things that I think should change on the outside aren't as fast as I want them to. Right. And so do you see what I'm saying, Grace? Try to look at the pieces that, different aspects of your life that have changed. And remember that often we don't balance our lives well. We need to be accountable to other parts of ourselves. So maybe this is a way to be accountable to your inner state. And let's see, setting a timer on a phone. So work, rest, meditate when he's not. Oh, okay. You're telling Belle. That's Belle. Sorry. I thought that was Grace. That's when you find comparison happening. Did what I say make sense though to that it's maybe you're comparing the wrong things. And self-comparison is awesome. So everything that has changed is invisible. Is it? Believe me, I'm asking you, is it? Because I'm literally right there with you on that one. And I can see visible changes. It's just that it's like when you lose weight very slowly. It's like when you learn a new skill very slowly, and you don't go from not knowing a language to being fluent overnight. And even when you're fluent, it may not feel fluent inside of you. You know what I mean? It may not line up the way you think it should look for a long time. And then you look back over the longer distance. So maybe journaling would help you to be able to bear more witness. This is where I am now. And then don't read it for a while and then go back and look. Goal setting might be small. Goal setting might be useful to you. Actually, finding things you want, pick a word that you want the change in and make a sentence about that word, make a paragraph about that word, and then aim for it. And if it doesn't look the way you think it should look, that's okay, because what that is it becoming what it's becoming rather than what we think it should become. Life doesn't always happen the way we think it should, right? It's like I have to have faith that the invisible changes will show up in career and money later. I feel ya. I understand. Totally understand. Yes. I think we do have to have that faith. I think we have to have faith that as we heal and change and have the inner sense that you can do this, that life will meet us. I do think that is faith, hope, whatever you want to call it. That's what I think. I do. And it also opens you up to opportunities that you might not see if you're closed down thinking nothing's ever going to change. In other words, paths might open up that allow you to meet that goal that you wouldn't see if you were closed. Perspective toward the positive is not going to hurt you. Perspective toward the narrowing, I don't even want to say negative, but a narrowing mindset is not going to help you. Getting pinpoint focused is actually opening up sometimes, right? So it's that. Okay. All right. What am I missing here? Hi, Crystal Jean. Is it magical thinking? No, it is positive mindset that open. So, okay, here's a way to show it's not magical thinking. If you think nothing good is ever going to happen, any opportunity that comes your way, you're going to shoot down. You're not going to try. If you don't try new things, how are you going to make change? Change happens through action. Okay. The inner change happens through inner action, and the outer change happens as we take it into the world. And if you sit in your room waiting for change, but you're doing all this great inner work, not much is going to change on the outside, right? But if the work that you're doing on yourself inwardly gives you a lean into your yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Lean into yourself and into your yes. As you open up that potential, as you open up the perspective shift of I can, and the more positive perspectives, you are more open to whatever opportunities come up. You're more willing to go seek things and try new things. You can't succeed until you learn to fail, right? You start failing at things and something clicks and it stops failing. Or you learn through the failures and you keep moving. It's just, but if your mindset is one of darkness and negativity towards yourself, you fail once and you crumble, right? But so that's not going to create change. So yes, I don't think it's magical thinking. I think it's like what do I want to say? It's propelling you forward. Okay. Sometimes I watch your videos on earbuds several times, so that's nice. Okay. The thing is, we can even see tangible change by being here without being ready to switch off if they show up. I'm confused. Okay. I'm losing it. Okay, where am I? Okay. My number one tip is to be so easy on yourself. You aren't anyone else. Your journey is yours alone. The energy it takes to heal from this abuse takes a long while. It doesn't start to show on the outside. We've survived insidious abuse. Healing from this is massive. Exactly. Take that inner change as a sign of something good. And it's not magical thinking to expect it to create more change. It may be you need a different strategy to create more change. It may be looking toward people who have different strategies in their life and how they've made changes. But because you've made this change to an open way of viewing yourself, you can then allow the other people's strategies to come in and affect change upon your life. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? If we're closed down and we say no to everything because of the pain and the hurt, then we're not open to other strategies and other ways of doing things. So, to what you're saying, race car drivers remember to watch the track, not the wall. Yep. That's what we were saying last week, right? Look forward, not down, and let your life go that way. Lise, what I mean is we can watch these help channels without being scared of getting caught. That's proof that life has improved. Right. Exactly. Also, focusing on telling my mind to remove fear, replace it with love. With love, anything is possible, especially self-love. Anything is possible except changing a narcissist. That's their responsibility, and it can't happen because they don't take responsibility and accountability. Period. End of sentence. Done. So move forward with your life, right? Okay. So what are some other ways to be accountable? I said mindfulness. And we talked about seeking the positive. That's what you were talking about there, Grace, is really important, that seeing the inner change and seeking the positive and the joys in your life, witnessing them and following through with seeking them out is a way to be accountable to your well-being. The rear view mirror is tiny compared to the windshield. I like that, Daniel. That's right. And we can't drive the car in the future either. We have to be in the now. We have to be present to the apparatus that we're moving through space, our bodies, ourselves. So, okay. I missed something. What did I miss here? If I missed something, please ask again, as I always say, because my going back means I get lost. Okay. Let's see. So one way to be accountable to yourself is to look for the good in yourself. It's kind of what we were talking about with Grace, but a little more on the taking it back a few steps, because I think she's got it going with the with what the direction. But for people who don't feel like they do this, finding the good in yourself helps you to know what it is you even want. It helps you to know, it helps you to set intention. How can you set an intention if you don't see any good or any purpose? So start seeking the good in yourself. What are we doing? What's going on with Angela? What's going on, Angela? Did I miss something? I'm looking. I don't see it. Okay. What scares you? Is it yours or theirs? Okay, so I just froze. Okay, I was gonna say we hit 50. I freeze at 50. I should just pose. It's 50 minutes. Here we go. All right, you guys. So, okay, here's an important one. There's a question I ask you. I ask of you if you are feeling like you are holding on to accountability for other people's actions instead of your own, instead of focusing on your own healing, if you are looking back toward, but why is he doing this to me? But why is she doing that? But why do they say this? Well, how come they're hoovering? Why aren't they hoovering? What are they doing? Why are they doing this on Facebook? I saw these pictures on Instagram. What is that about? If you're constantly looking back to them, if you are making excuses for their behavior, for anyone's behavior, if you're out in life, you're totally over the narcissist in a sense, but you're out in life continuing with the same patterns, continuing with the same, making assumptions of what other people think versus trying to meet someone honestly with what your needs are and having your boundaries in place and holding on to your own self as being accountable to yourself. What are your triggers for this denial? We're in denial a lot of times because we don't want to look at self. We want to look at other people for the reasons life doesn't work. We don't want to, because it's been proven, because people have conditioned us through abuse. But if we're no longer in abuse, not talking if you are, because if you are, you're still in the cycle and it's very difficult to do this. But if you're no longer within an abusive situation, even if you're out 2 days, what in you, what is triggering the denial going off in your head that says, I need to make that other person happy before myself. I need to fix the situation. What is triggering it? And ask yourself some questions about that and see what happens. They are masters at illusion. Bella's saying, yes, I keep repeating, I am not in a relationship, friendship, or anything like that with a narcissist. I have it taped to my phone. It's a transaction. The person I fell in love with is an illusion. Oh my gosh, I know that state is so hard, and you're doing so well holding on and holding on to yourself and finding yourself while you're in the middle of it, Belle. You're doing an amazing job at trying to create a life before you're able to leave. You're doing the hard work. But what you're doing is you're setting up something for yourself for afterward that is healthier by doing all of this. Does that make sense? You're not falling away from a narcissist, coming to it with no understanding of what's happening. You're putting drops in the bucket ahead of time. So you're just like you're saving money bit by bit, you're saving yourself bit by bit by seeing all this stuff, by working on your self-care, and by trying to focus on you as you find your way out. You're putting drops in the bucket forward. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to be hard. And fashion family too, with the trying to leave and break the trauma bonds, as you're doing this work on yourself, it's the same as putting money away at the side, right? It's putting emotional currency into the bucket for yourself. So, sorry, shook the camera. Shake it. Okay. Linnell saying, stop looking at them. Don't go back. Nothing to prove here. People, black sticky tar they are, and they would even blow feathers on you. Yes, they would. It's a pattern, not a person. Oh, I love that. It's a pattern, not a person. It is a pattern of behavior. They don't have a personality. They are nothing more than masks with patterns of behavior, and a lot of it's deliberate. A lot of it's deliberate to get their own way. And we know that, so yes. And so why be accountable for that? Let them have it. That's theirs. Be accountable to yourself and find your way through it, out of it, Take care of yourself in healing. Okay. I've been working at it for 3 years, and after 30 years, ask me anything, Bill. I've studied well. Exactly. All right. Yesterday, my son said to me, I'd make a good therapist counselor because I listen. I'm actually observing his narcissistic ways. He doesn't know how much I'm aware of all of this. You probably would be. And I mean, I don't remember how old he is. He's an adult, right? Yeah. So then you set boundaries as best you can, right? How can they not have a personality? They have half-formed personalities because they did not, in their youth, form a personality that comes from a secure base of self-acceptance, self-awareness. They didn't, what they've been trying to do their whole life is create patterns of people's behaviors that give them what they want. Instead of, they basically are people who can't sit and feel bad. They can't sit and take it. They can't, the parts of their personality didn't develop at an early enough age alongside with having empathy for other people. When someone doesn't have empathy, all they're out to do is gain for themselves. So they just, that's my quick version. But wait, Jack, your son is, oh, he's 24. Okay. I thought you said 1. I'm like, wow, you said all that at 1? I'm impressed. Okay. No, he's 24. They saw it in a movie. They liked it. That's right. All right. The person they were did not serve them well for whatever reason, so they killed it off. The person that they were, they never were, because it was only a partial person also. It's my understanding is that they never fully formed a true personality. That's why it's a disorder. It's not a they're not playing a game. They're actually disordered in their personality. They do not, my understanding is they have certain masks they wear. They know how to groom. They know how to watch. They're very observant. Usually they're people who are, they're not intuitive. It's more like, receptive to what's going on around them. Perceptive. That's the word, not receptive. They're perceptive. Therefore, they can figure out how to manipulate a situation based on their perceptions of what's going on to serve themselves. And if that means going in and being Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Charming, then that's what they do. And if it means going in being the stern and, whatever, then that's what they do. But it's not that they're putting on, everybody does that to a degree. You see a situation, you assess it. You don't walk in full of silly and goofy into somewhere very somber and quiet. That would be inappropriate socially. But what they do is they do it in order to manipulate the world to come back and serve them. If I am this way, this person will always think I am that way. Therefore, I will be able to always get away with X, Y, and Z around that person. And that's why when you're in a relationship with them and the masks fall off, they can't keep those on for long because they're wearing how many for different parts of you, right? And they can't keep it on and it falls off, and hence the devaluing, because it's exhausting. They can't, plus they need to, that's a whole nother topic. We'll do a talk on devalue and why another day. They are only coping defense mechanisms. No need to develop personality for them. Right. It's all coping. It's all manipulation. It's not always coping. I think it's a lot of times, especially as adults, just to get what they want. It's proven useful. It's functional. They don't have empathy at the same time, which means they don't connect to other people in the same way. They don't care. They care about their own self. So, but that's, again, going back to them, how can you be accountable to yourself is the point of this talk. So I would say, for those of you who are highly focused on the narcissist, it's time to start focusing on self and take up the task of accountability toward oneself. Figure out how. Join a support group. Ask for help for being accountable. Sometimes it takes having other people to be accountable to in order to be accountable to yourself. As it's sort of like leaning into your yes, absolutely, and leaning into yourself, leaning into your future and your now versus somebody else's depiction of what should have happened to you and what should happen to you if you're still with them, and and the past of what was done to you. It's not going to help you move forward to stick there. So, okay. Just to get what they want. And if they were angry at you, they wouldn't even pass you the bucket of water if you were on fire. That's right. Crystal's saying, yes, my ex became whoever he was around. Unfortunately, he was around me most and became mostly me. I became almost nothing. Case of the body snatchers. Yellow. Yep. Okay. Okay. So anything else you guys want to talk about? We're at an hour. We're going to end soon. Any questions? Belle, what can I help you with? What can we leave you with that would help you today? What do you need? Because you're in a state of need right now. So what do you need? Okay. Yeah. And reach out to me. I want to make sure you're safe, Belle. Okay. If you need something, I don't know what I can offer from far, far away, but an ear sometimes. Okay. If you're able to, anyone with accountability. Okay. Here's what I'm going to leave you with today, unless there is anything anyone wants to talk about or has a question. Sometimes being accountable to yourself is very difficult on your own. And I know that sounds like not being accountable to then try to rely on other people to be accountable. But that's why people diet in groups. That's why they exercise in groups. That's why they hire trainers. That's why they get coaches. That's why they do these things, is to help with their own accountability. If you need it, know it's out there. Okay. There's resources out there. That's why I started the support. That's why I started the group coaching versus just sticking with one-to-one coaching. I love one-to-one coaching. It's intimate and it's lovely and it's amazing and it's great to watch. Give someone your full attention for that amount of time and have them get that full attention. But the group is a different dynamic, and the group coaching is really good for starting to focus on having accountability for yourself and your own healing. I try to make it affordable and doable for people. Contact me anytime to see if there are any scholarships available. Sometimes there are. Often there are, because people who go through it tend to want to give back to it and will often, tell me that that's what's going on. And then we are able to help people who can't afford it. So take up these things that are offered to you. Queen Being has so much information. The either Spanley Home, which is the paid service that is more private, or on Facebook, if you're over there, Queen Being Span. What did we change the title recently? What is it? The Queen Being Spanley. You look it up, you'll find it. We're there. Find us. I think that the link is it's on Queen Being. It's all over the place. Join us. Get the support you need. Work on the accountability to yourself. Stop looking at the narcissist. We got to understand them, but we're not here to control them. We're not here to change them. We're not here to, all they are is a source of study. They are not a source of where you're going to find peace in your life. You're trauma bonded. You think going to the source is going to fix it. You think going back to that source is going to make it better. It's not. I'm here to tell you it never will, ever. So what makes it better is turning inward toward yourself and turning toward people who have been there, people who are there for your growth and to support you, people who understand and who can give you compassion, and yourself. Okay. That's all I got for today on accountability, you guys. So if you've not hit subscribe, please do so. If you enjoyed this today, please hit the thumbs up so I know there is interest in this particular topic, and I will do more on things like that. If you would like notification of texting, if you would like notification of when I go live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, one word, LISELIVE, and I will send you notification about 10 minutes prior to going on. It's the only text I send you. And that is it, you guys. You take care. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Any topic ideas for tomorrow, hit me up in the main comments, on the main thing, not in chat, and I'll try to get to it. You guys take care. And Belle, please take care. Did I see, wait, Lise, thank you. And all, did you see about needing a big group hug? This group is so important to me. I plan to do group coaching in autumn after inspection. You are my family. Tears grateful. And I am looking forward to meeting Zen. It's fun to meet. And the support there is great. So, okay, group hug back, I suppose I would say. And take care, you guys. You guys have a good day. Belle, check in if you need anything. Okay, bye-bye.